Hi everyone, it's Cheryl from CherylMuir.com, helping you to get published and share your message with the world. This week I wanted to talk about a bit of a trend that I'm seeing. It's some misconceptions around writing, because there's a lot of things I know that are holding you back from writing. So I'm going to do a little bit of myth busting today. Would you believe me if I told you that I had no qualifications in writing? I don't. And I say that proudly because I haven't had anyone teach me how to write. So I've kind of found my own way through years and years of practice. And I kind of wear that as a badge of honor because I do believe that I'm a really strong writer. And so to read my writing back and to believe it's really strong and to know that nobody's taught me how to do that, I see as a very, very strong thing. That being said, if people do have a qualification in writing, if they've been to university and they have a master's or higher in, creative writing or literature or the English language, that's a really wonderful thing to have, and it certainly does have a lot of value. However, just because you don't have that, it doesn't mean that you can't write. So don't let a quote unquote, air quote, lack of qualifications hold you back from starting putting pen to paper. A lot of you will know that I'm writing a novel, and my book editor is actually very, very well qualified in writing. She has the academic qualifications, and so for us to collaborate and for her to have, the book smarts and me to have the street smarts is actually a really beautiful marriage of the two backgrounds. So certainly there's huge amounts of value in having those academic qualifications, but do not let it stop you from getting started. I've been writing for a long time, in fact over half of my life. I started writing when I was 15 years old, and if you haven't seen last week's video, give that a watch. I talk about my journey into writing and how I became a writer. But you have to start somewhere. When I first started writing, I'd never done it before, but I just got started. So that's one of the big messages I want to bring through to you today. Even if you don't have any experience in writing, the reason you don't have any experience is you haven't started. So start today, and that's how you gain your experience. Write about the things you're going through. Write about imaginative things and things you want to experience and things you have experienced and what you've learned. Just start writing, and just write for yourself. Write in your bedroom, write in your living room, like just sit at home and write. And it doesn't matter if that writing doesn't see the light of day, just get started, and that's how you build up your experience. Naysayers. No matter what it is you want to do in life, you're going to have people tell you that you can't, or you shouldn't, or you won't, or you're not good enough, or you can't do it because of X, Y, and Z. And I'm going to call bullshit on all of that, you guys. You may or may not have seen one of the posts I did on Facebook a little while ago about my experience in high school in terms of my high school English language and English literature teacher telling me that I was not a good writer. So what happened was, if you haven't heard the story, is I was at a parent-teachers night with my mom, and my English language teacher was sitting opposite me, and she said, "Well, writing just isn't your strong point, is it, Cheryl?" And of course my mum called bullshit on it, and she was like, "No, Cheryl's actually a really strong writer. What are you talking about?" And I just sat there like, what? Like, this is my passion. This is what I love. And at the time I was planning to go to journalism. Of course that didn't work out, and you guys will know that eventually I went into public relations, and now I'm in this field of writing and digital PR strategy. But I didn't listen to her. But I could have easily listened to her. And how many stories do we hear of this? People who were told they would never be, an athlete or an entrepreneur or an actress or whatever the case may be, and they went on to be extremely, extremely successful. So it seems to be almost like a bit of a rite of passage. If you want to do something with your life, someone tells you that you can't, and you just say, "Okay, watch me now. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to prove you wrong." Do not let naysayers hold you back from what you want to do with your life. One closing thought. There are very, very low barriers to entry with writing. And what I mean by that is, if you were a dancer, for example, you would need studio space. If you were an artist, you would need all of the different artist utensils and kit. But with writing, it's really, really easy. All you really need is a computer, which we, mostly all have or have access to, and a blank Word document. Or if you really want to go old school, and like I used to do when I started out writing, get your old pen and a pad. You really don't need very much to start writing. But there does seem to be this kind of snobbery almost with writing, like you have to have experience and qualifications and you won't do it and da-da-da. You don't need to listen to any of that. You can start writing today, and you don't necessarily have to write it under the guise of this is going to be published. Just write it for yourself. I can honestly tell you, I have so much that has never seen the light of day and probably will never see the light of day. It was just written for me because I enjoy it. So just see it as that, see it as practice. I'm sure there are lots of well-known and successful musicians and artists and so on and so forth who have created lots of songs and pieces of art that will never see the light of day. And it really is just about practice and having fun. So please keep that in mind and get started. I hope this inspired you to get published and share your message with the world. As always, if you want to get next week's video direct to your inbox, be sure to subscribe over at cherylmuir.com. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Done that through practice. That over at cherylmuir.com. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Shooting outside. This is real life.